Hello, everyone. This is Kripa Anand, and welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. Today, we are breaking down the interdisciplinary engineering of corporate customer acquisition pipelines, systematic analytics processing, and the structural optimization of marketing ROI across mature industries. In 2026, shielding an organization from escalating client acquisition costs requires looking past generic media broadcasting to build fully connected, value driven growth engines that turn raw marketing data into definitive executive decisions. Joining us today is Dr. Khatereh Pourasadollahi, an elite marketing executive, academic educator, and researcher with over 11 years of high impact Canadian and international experience. Kat is a distinguished business professional whose cross functional background spans industrial engineering, an executive MBA in strategic management, and a PhD in business administration, specializing in marketing. A certified leader through the Digital Marketing Institute and the American Marketing Association, she completed advanced executive training in AI driven marketing at the Wharton School. She currently sits on the board of directors for the Better Business Bureau, that is BBB, serving British Columbia and Yukon, championing ethics and market trust. So, before further ado, let's welcome this very special guest. Dr. Khatereh, welcome to the podcast. Such a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me today.
Now, Kat, an overwhelming percentage of small business owners, they treat marketing as an isolated line item expense, right? Routinely dumping capital into disconnected social media boosts while expecting major revenue expansion. Let's start the conversation by understanding from your perspective what key structural gaps cause paid ads to fail at driving real business growth. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Kripa. Yeah, of course. I can think of three gaps. The biggest misconception is treating paid advertisement as a growth engine. That actually it is not. It's only one component. And fueling the paid advertisement and adding budget to it without having a clear channel strategy, which is connected to your overarching marketing strategy, simply won't return for the businesses. The next gap I can think about is about the disconnection between intention, advertisement, and the journey. An ad can win us the click, only one click or impression. Let's focus on click. That click is sitting between two other components and elements, intention before the click and customer journey that actually is connected and is after the click. When we talk about intention, we are thinking about the client that actually, or a customer or user that they have a problem in their mind and trying to search a solution for that problem. Uh, this is here that we need to have a channel strategy to ensure that our paid advertisement is designed to capture clients that actually their intention is highly aligned with the unique value proposition your business is actually offering. And on the other side, your other channel is playing a role as well because they are building trust behind that click. So in one side of the click, we have intention and trust. And in the other side, we have the rest of the customer journey, like landing page, like nurturing, how we want to hands off this to the sales team. So if this bridge is not connected to these two pieces, the bridge actually leads nowhere. And that's why it's really important that we ensure we have this connection in the place. Sometimes I would say we are shouting on strangers if we don't have a good strategy. And finally, I want to talk about vanity metrics and measuring KPIs. We need to ensure that KPIs are aligned with our business outcome. We should understand that no business is running based on impression and clicks. We need to focus on metrics like conversion rate, like different level of our funnel and pipeline and lifetime value for our customer. So all of those metrics are very more important than just measuring indicators of performance.
Wow, very well articulated, Kat. I think that's a key insight because marketing works best when it's connected to a strong sales and customer journey strategy, as you mentioned. So, thank you so much for shedding light on that. We can't have this conversation without the mention of AI, right? AI is not even a buzzword at this point anymore. It's changing the way customers discover and also evaluate businesses online. So, let's start understanding this from your perspective. How is AI reshaping consumer discovery, and how can brands stay visible and still trusted in this noisy world out there?
Thank you so much. Yeah, of course. Yes. These days, instead of competing for getting rank in search, we are competing to ensure that our brand is appearing in AI platform.
Yeah.
So I want to simplify it for business owners that maybe probably they don't have all of the technical background when we are talking about AI visibility. We have two steps for AI visibility. First step, AI needs to be able to read the information about your business, what you are offering, your unique selling point, and AI can do it through having access to the content you have in your website, hopefully, because if you are not giving that content and you are not having a good website and content strategy, then AI want to capture information from other part of the web, and it's not what you want because it's not aligned with your strategy. So first, we want to ensure we have good content. We are structuring that content in a way that AI can read it, and we can have the infrastructure and foundational technical aspect to support the website, that we can keep the access of AI bots to the website open. So that's the first part, that business can work on it definitely with having the skill set and right people. The second part is about very important aspect of AI visibility, the trust. AI can read your information, but decide that this is not the business I want to recommend to my user. So building trust signals and reviewing what is the historical data in the platform and everywhere in different websites about our business is a very important aspect of AI visibility as well. That's why I would say these days businesses need to engineer their presence across the web and build a really good omni-channel AI visibility loops. Sometimes people ask me, okay, how about radio and TV? Should I stop investing of them because they are not connected to the digital ecosystem? Of course not. They have their own footprint when we talk about AI visibility, but they just need to find the right place in your strategy.
Wow, you've made an incredibly important point, because yes, businesses must adapt their digital presence to, remain visible in an AI driven search environment, because if they don't find you, your business, it's as good as not existing for them. So thanks a lot. Let's now, also discuss, Kat, how leaders can turn raw data into meaningful decisions instead of, getting overwhelmed by endless reports and, data sheets and numbers. So everyone has a different definition of, what you should do with clean data. But what do you suggest? How do you suggest leaders turn raw marketing data into actionable strategic decisions for their entire team?
I'm very happy that you are asking this question, because just like you, yes, I'm seeing that a lot of businesses and leaders, they are struggling with getting real value of their data.
Yeah.
From my perspective, value for data is coming from the framework we can define around it as leaders, because we are the people that we need to give that direction to our people that are working on data. That framework tells us actually what question we are trying to answer, what goals we are trying to support, and how the analytics connects back to our business decision. What I do always, I push my team to go through 3 layers of data analysis. They need to come back to me with saying that what happened, why actually it happened, and then now we should to do what we can do differently, or how we can do differently to ensure that we have an action item based on the data. Another aspect of data analysis, specifically when we are talking about marketing and attribution analysis, is accepting the fact that we are working on a data on data that's coming from the real business information. We are doing business in a real world. We are not running a control experiment in a design research protocol. So that's why I think it's important to understand the attribution analysis and data analysis in marketing is not absolute. It can be directional. And I've seen leaders that confidently they are making wrong decisions because they are over relying on the data. So that's something that always I keep in my mind when I'm working with data, or if I'm guiding my team through using and leveraging that. These all together can help us to ensure we are going to the right direction and we are getting meaningful insight from the data we have.
That's valuable advice right there. Focusing on a few key metrics often leads to, better decisions and stronger results, instead of just, trying to be everywhere at every point of time. Building on what you've said, Doctor, here's a special message now for all of our listeners, specifically to all the corporate directors, financial managers, and small business operators who are listening and watching. In 2026, letting raw, unverified dashboard data dictate your strategic plans, it's a massive threat to your operational margins. Newly selected to the board of directors for the BBB British Columbia and Yukon, Dr. Khatereh Pourasadollahi delivers world class, warrant trained advisory systems that merge deep data analysis with ethical marketplace trust. Now, coming back to you, Dr. Khatereh, let's now look at how small businesses can maximize growth when working with limited budgets. Usually, as a small business owner, you're counting every penny that's going out of your pocket, right? So, where should small businesses prioritize spending to maximize results on limited budgets as well?
I think when we have a big budget, always we think about diversification because it makes sense. It's going to lower our risk. But
Yeah.
when we have a small budget, diversification is the fastest way that you can burn your budget and waste it. If you have tiny budget, you need to focus on one specific channel, dominate that channel. The good thing about it is you can gain enough learning and data from your activity that you can improve yourself. You are completely visible in one channel rather than spreading your budget across 5 channels that giving you a mediocre position.
Yeah.
And after that, you can play a little bit with maybe 10% of your budget. I call it a learning budget to test other channels and see what is going to work for you. And then maybe you can add it on top of what you are doing now. One thing about expanding your presence, and I learned it through like 11 years of working both strategy and execution, you cannot run channels in isolation. If you want to add a new channel, that channel needs to support and amplify other channel that you have already that can
Mhm.
help you to lower your investment, your wasted investment. And finally, I can say prioritize retention because always acquisition for new customers is going to be more expensive than the customer already you have. So take care of them in a perfect way.
Makes a lot of sense. That's a very practical and real life strategy that you've shared. Improving retention and conversion offers delivers the highest return on investment. So, thank you for making that point. Let's now also talk about why trust, transparency, and ethical business practices are becoming powerful competitive advantages. So at this point, companies are not just competing on the basis of skill, but also on the basis of experience and the ethical value that they are bringing to the table. So why do ethical operations and marketplace trust drive long-term corporate value?
A business building trust is a business building an asset that compounds. And I'm not saying that as a platitude. I'm saying that economically, because when you are a trustworthy business, you are paying a lower cost per acquisition for your client, you are having a higher conversion rate, you can retain your client for a longer time, and even you can build a stronger pricing power. So all of that come like value and benefit for your business. Even now with AI visibility, I think it's getting more important. I talk about trust signals. That's one of the part of my goal and why actually I'm serving on BBB Board of Directors for BC and Yukon because I think the role this type of organization is playing now is getting more important. They can
Mhm.
support both business as customer, but as a business, you need to start showing evidence to this platform that you are caring about trust for customer in the market. Trust is not a brand message. You cannot go around and say I'm trustworthy. I think it's an operate discipline, and you have to show it by taking care of complaint, by taking care of your customers, and deliver on what you actually promise.
That's great. That's an excellent takeaway. Trust definitely remains one of the most valuable assets a business can build over time. Kat, you're so passionate about what you do. How did you end up in this role? Is this something that you were always interested in, even as a kid? You were always creative, or interested in marketing or ads, or is this something that maybe you stumbled upon in your career? So, what's your story?
Mm. Okay, so that's a like interesting one. Yes, I always found myself very interested in understanding how businesses are working. Even when I was like younger, always I kept asking questions of that my dad,
Yeah.
uncles, any other people about okay, how you are doing this, or I have my candies, I want to sell my candies. So always I've been interested in marketing, and I think I've been very lucky because when you are developing a career, it's not all about your passion. Meeting right people, having good mentor can help you to go faster. And I'm very happy that because, as you mentioned, whatever I'm doing every day, I love it.
Now, the work that you're doing is also incredibly important. So thank you so much for, doing everything that you're doing, and so much more power to you. I'm loving this conversation today, and definitely we'd love for you to be back, hopefully for an in-person episode that we do the next with you, Kat. But for today, before we let you go, if there's one final piece of advice that you have for our listeners today, what is the most important step to building a resilient growth engine this quarter?
Thank you so much, Kripa. If I had to pick only one step for this quarter, I would say remapping your connected growth engine, because that single practice can expose you to what you learn. Um, Based on my experience, I think that this connection between strategy, channel planning, and day-to-day execution is the biggest failure for businesses, especially mid-sized businesses and small businesses. So I can say, if I want to wrap up what I said today, I put it in this way. Success means that a growth stop being a series of lucky quarters and become repeatable, because you finally know which drivers actually produce it.
Wow, that is an exceptional reminder that lasting business success requires deep adaptability, a strong understanding of your target environment, and building your strategy on real trust. Kat, it was such a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for being here and joining us today.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it too.
All right, that was Dr. Khatereh Pourasadollahi, participating today in her personal capacity as a premier marketing executive within the financial service industry. A masterclass in building unified growth engines that look past basic ad spend, leveraging data to drive strategic executive decisions, and understanding how her selection to the BBB Board of Directors offers an opportunity to contribute to consumer trust and vital aspects in an increasingly AI driven landscape out there. To all the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and visit CanadianSME.ca for more such resources. To learn more about how we are supporting the ecosystem beyond the platform, please visit the Canadian SME Small Business Foundation at smbfoundation.ca. And lastly, a very special thank you to our partners, UPS, our shipping partner, and ADP, our HR partner, for their ongoing commitment to empowering SMBs across Canada. I'll see you all in the next episode. Kripa Anand signing off.